All right, and we are live. Hey guys, I wanted to come back and share with you guys a couple quick updates on the Empower Grief Journey. Number one, our book is back online. It's been out for a couple months now. I wanted to share with you guys. You can find this on Amazon. You can find it on Barnes and Noble. You can find it on Draft Digital. I've got it on quite a few wholesaler distributions out there, so you're going to find this all over the place, which is very, very beautiful. What I want to share about the book really quickly. This is 23 stories of grief that carved a new path forward. This is from people from my podcast from last year, people that have seen and walked grief in a very, very different light. And this book is not just about heavy grief stories. This is actually about healing journeys. It's meant to empower you, not bring you down. And what I love about the book, by the way, is that this also doesn't tell you what to do or how to do it. It is through the storytelling of the authors in this book that you can help navigate your grief journey just a little bit better. What I'm going to share is we redid the book, so we've got a matte finish on it. Feels really good in the hand. I also have put in cream colored paper instead of white to make this book a little more personable and calmer feel to it, which I really, really love. So I want to share with you guys, if you go to barnesandnoble.com, you guys can find it. You can find it on Amazon too. It's just done through a different distributor instead of Amazon Direct. So what I want to say is please go out there and grab a copy of this if you can. If you know somebody who's going through grief right now or trauma or loss, get them a copy of it because support for grief is something very underutilized right now. And people feel very isolated and alone when they're going through their grief journey. So if they do, if you know anybody who is going through that, just like I did years ago, get them a copy of this book. It's going to help them out. And the really cool part is the authors in this book, they'll reach out to you. You can connect with them. I have all their contact information. Heck, I'll show it to you real quick. When you get to the end of the chapters, you'll see author pages. You can click a QR code here and websites there to be able to reach out to those authors. You can connect with their podcast episodes. You guys can listen to those. You guys can also reach out on social media and connect with them. So it's a really awesome gig. So it's been a minute since I've been on social media, guys. I took a personal break here, January, February. I have a lot of big things coming around. What I'm going to share with you guys really quickly, the Empower Grief Journey is growing right now. It's actually a beautiful thing. The book has given us a lot of opportunities to reach out and network with more and more people. I have a list of guests for new podcast episodes. Speak of the devil, I've got about 10 new episodes coming out between now and the end of March. So keep your eyes focused on the podcast. There's some powerful episodes coming. I also have a big list of podcast guests that I'm going to be calling back this year. I don't think we'll do 125 episodes this year because that was incredibly ambitious. But we are going to be doing quite a few episodes because that became something very, very popular last year. And I've been very grateful for. My next update I'm going to share with you guys. I am going to be doing the Global Grief Conference with my man, Tony Lynch. We have a lot of presenters this year, 50. It's 50. I'm probably doing that backwards on here, but that's fine. What I want to share with you really quickly, join me for the Global Grief Conference. I know last year I was just building things and getting going with that, but the Global Grief Conference was a big opportunity to connect with people in the grief space. Many people are coaches. Many people are therapists. It's a whole perspective of grief in an array of different ways. They're very, very powerful. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Please join me. It's an awesome time. Tony's got a lot of good music, a lot of good things going on in that. There's a lot of presenters. A lot of us have written books and podcasting, and we just help people in the grief space. Simply put, that's our mission. That's what we do. So it's gonna be really awesome. I am presenting this year, by the way, and I gotta thank Tony when I jump off here. I am presenting on my grandfather's birthday, April 26th. I wanted that last year and I couldn't get it, which I totally understand. But this year I get to present on my grandfather's birthday. And for many of you guys who have followed me and heard the story, but I've got a lot of new followers, so I'm going to give you guys a quick synopsis. My grief journey really started in 2020 when I lost my grandfather to cancer. I flew home after moving across country. I held my grandfather as he passed away. That was one of the hardest moments of my life that I've ever faced. And that was the one that really triggered this grief journey for me. Caden, unfortunately, came 2 years after that. And that one was really the one that broke me in many ways. So I've dealt with grief in a very heavy aspect of life on shockingly on the newborn side of life and at the very end of life. I've dealt with it on both spectrums, now that I come to think of it. But the reason I share this is I'm really happy I get to honor him on that day. I get to honor the moment he gave me. And I'm really excited. So if you guys could support me, I'd really appreciate it. You don't have to buy anything from me, whatever it is, but I would love for your support. I really would, because grief is something that so many of us experience, so many of us go through and are going to go through. If you haven't lost somebody in life, you're going to. If you haven't lost a job yet, it's probably going to happen. And so I want to make sure that you can join this grief conference and get the experience of people who walked that journey, so that if and when that day comes, and I can never predict the future like anybody, but I can just say if and when that day comes, maybe the voices you hear at that conference and stories like mine will help empower you in that moment. Maybe they will. And that's the biggest gift we could give. My other thing I'm going to share with you guys is I am creating a framework that I'm actually testing out right now and teaching every week. It's been a beautiful thing. It's called the Caden Framework. It's from my little man, Caden. I'll share that with you guys real quick. I freaking love this little boy so much. He's given me a beautiful gift that I get to use every day to help people, and I love it. I get to celebrate him and help other people in a lot of different ways. So I'm excited about that. So the Caden Framework, I came up with this last year while I was writing the book. It came at the very end of the book when I was putting everything together. But what it is a coaching program that isn't really a coaching program based on me. It's actually a coaching program that you can mold to your own grief experience. You can mold to your own way of learning, your own way of going through life. And that's what I think is so freaking powerful about it. And that's what I'm excited about, because that's really what Caden put me on this journey to do, is to help people in the way that they learn and the way that they walk through life, to help them discover and pull out the gifts that they have within themselves to create a new inspiring future and to be able to help people where they once stood. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just teaching other people how to do it. So I'm really excited about it. The last couple of weeks, so we're in the first phase of things. The first part of the Caden framework is called courage. And courage is really something we all struggle with, by the way, when we go through grief, because we get knocked down on the ground pretty bad, pretty hard. It's like, if you guys watch football, if you're a linebacker and you smack a quarterback at 100 miles an hour, that's what grief feels like. So when we talk about courage in the framework, what I'm helping people do is get those emotions and those feelings that they're suppressing and pushing down or pushing out or trying to hide or run from. I'm trying to get them to get in that place, get in those emotions, those feelings, bring those things to the surface, because we all have a unique grief experience. All of us do. And it's in those emotions and feelings, by the way, that we find our courage. And courage isn't this loud, big, muscular, oh, I'm a tough guy and oh, I got that. No, courage isn't like that. That's not what we teach. What we do teach is that we have the courage to be vulnerable. We have the courage to feel. We have the courage to sit in that moment of grief and loss and look at it for exactly what it was, what we felt, what we experienced, what our emotions were like. Having the courage to face those. And that means, by the way, and I know this might shock a lot of men watching this, that means crying. Sorry. Tears are a good thing. They're not weakness. Get that mindset out. Tears mean you care. Tears mean grief is being heard and seen and understood and validated. I'm getting people to walk through that process as they go through their program here. And so courage is the first part of us getting in touch with those feelings or emotions that we've suppressed or hidden or been told we can't feel. And that's a 2-week process to work through that. I kind of help people take time with that. I don't think it's something we can rush, but I think it's something that we can spend a lot of time sitting with, because inside those emotions, by the way, are messages. Those are things that help us, allow us to go forward. And so I'm really excited to be seeing so many people taking the Caden framework well right now and exploring their depth of reality, their feelings, their emotions, their thoughts, their beliefs. We're pulling all of this out in the Caden framework, and we're only on the letter C. We got to go all the way to N, which is new beginnings, which is why it's a 12-week program. And so I'm really excited about this. If you guys, by the way, want to learn more about the Caden framework, comment down below, DM me, shoot me an email, get in touch. It's a powerful thing. I don't know how to sell it to you guys, but this is giving people a way to work through grief and healing in a brand new light. And it's all about empowerment. This is not, I'm breaking the chains of grief in society. I'm breaking the molds and the ideologies, all that stuff. We're throwing it out the window. We're getting right in touch with where people are. We're meeting each other where we need to be met. There's no expectations. There's no, you have to do it this way or that way. There's none of that in the program I built. This is really about you creating your own path forward. I'm just giving you a guideline to follow and make your own. And that's what's really cool about it. So the other parts of the Caden framework, by the way, that we're going to move into next week is we're going to be moving into the letter A, which is acceptance. And that's a really heavy one. Once we do all this emotional work in the courage stages of the Caden framework, when we really feel what our feelings are, identify what our emotions and maybe our messages are, we start to allow ourselves to move into that acceptance phase. And what does that mean to us? You know, acceptance is a word I use a lot in coaching. And I always tell people all the time, acceptance doesn't mean we like it. It doesn't mean we agree to it. Sure as hell doesn't mean we think it's the best, but we will sit there and bring ourselves to the place to say, I accept this fully for everything that it is, everything that I think it might be, everything that it could have been. I accept it fully. And when we're able to bring ourselves to there, by the way, we free ourselves up from the heavy, heavy emotional ties of grief. We allow ourselves to start taking small steps forward. And I always say small steps because grief doesn't work in leaps and bounds. It doesn't work in giant steps. It works in small steps building over time. If you guys have ever watched James Clear, Atomic Habits, in his book, it's a beautiful thing. He says, focus on 1%. Everybody's trying to shoot for 50, shoot for 1. You get 37% better in a year just by focusing on being 1% better every day. And so when I teach grief through the Caden framework, that's where we focus 1%. I'm not worried about the 50. We'll get there. But I'm worried about the 1%. And that 1% is a small step a day. When we go through Caden framework 2, after acceptance, we move into deep healing. When we go through that acceptance phase, sometimes it unlocks new emotions and feelings on a deeper subconscious level that maybe we didn't initially bring to the surface. Maybe it brings up new memories, maybe some anger, some frustration, or even some deeper sadness. It's going to bring out a lot of things out of that acceptance phase. And so when we get into deep healing, I start showing people how to analyze their body somatically. I teach them how to understand how their body's reacting to emotions, reacting to feelings, how to look at their triggers, their environment, what's going on out there that's causing things to rattle around up top. I'm trying to get them connected this with their body so they can fully understand themselves and accept themselves even deeper in that deep healing process. And that's what the D letter stands for. The E letter is empowerment. When we get to that phase, by the way, this is where we're really moving out of the throes of grief and we're getting into that empowerment stage. We're starting to see that grief happened for us. It didn't happen to us. And that's the place that we start learning what the gifts, the lessons, and the blessings are of this moment. And that's why, as you guys have seen me, by the way, with Caden, you hear me all the time say he's a gift, he's a blessing. That doesn't erase the pain that happened. It doesn't erase that he's not here with me right now. It doesn't erase those things. I still have all those, just like everybody else. But empowerment means that I give it purpose, I give it meaning, I give it space. I learn how to integrate that grief into this new life we're creating. And that's what I show people through coaching. Grief doesn't have to be the thing that holds you back. That's some negative, terrible thing. It's not those things, man. Stop listening to that crap. Grief needs to be integrated into your life because it's going to be a part of you. It always will be. So don't ignore it and push it under the carpet and bring it up with you. Look at the good for it. Look at the things that it gives you. Get empowered by it. And so what I want to say about that is once we get that empowerment stage going, we move on to the final phase of the Caden framework, and that's new beginnings. And new beginnings, my friend, they're hard. They don't always look bright, cheery, and sunshine and unicorns, roses. They don't always look like that. New beginnings are very rough sometimes. Some days we have really nice suns out, blue skies. We feel really good. Next day on the new day beginning, we're down here again. We're feeling heavy emotions. We're feeling grief coming, rearing its ugly head. We're diving into that hopelessness train a little bit. Sometimes we have that, right? So my biggest thing that I share with people is new beginnings is the foundation for us to really start peeling those layers back, taking back what's in our control, getting rid of what's not, and giving ourselves the ability to say, it's okay, I'm going to make mistakes sometimes. Grief is a process where we take 3 steps forward and we take 5 back. Some days it's like that. Some days we take 5 steps forward and fall 2 back. And so grief is always moving. It's always changing. It's always shifting, right? And so why are we so rigid with ourselves when the world's going like this? Why are we doing that? Why are we so rigid on ourselves? Let's be honest really quickly about grief. Grief is really, really hard on us, right? Don't be hard on yourself. You're not perfect. You never will be. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. And by the way, I don't have all the answers, and neither do you. How beautiful is that? And what if we allow ourselves to say that in this moment of teaching with grief, if we learn about the Caden framework, the Caden method, if we learn from other people that go through grief while we're going through the Caden framework, and we meet somebody who's taking this course with us and they have an experience or something that resonates out of that, who's to say we can't learn? Who's to say we can't grow? We can't start again. This is what new beginnings are all about in the Caden framework. When we finish up this 12-week program, it's not the end, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a new chapter, just like the book, just like the Empower Grief Journey teaches us. 23 stories of grief that carved a new path forward. It wasn't always pretty for everybody in this book. It sure as hell wasn't. It was rough. And for some of us, it stayed rough after grief, even when we do all the work. It's still a little rough for us to continue forward. But you know what? Like I said, 1%, don't focus way out here. 1%, every single 1%er adds up. And it adds up very quickly, quicker than you think. And so I'm excited to share with you guys the Caden framework. If you guys are interested, by the way, in joining that program, comment below. I'm really excited. I've had a couple coaches reach out and want me to teach them and train them on it. I'm putting that thing together here over the next month and a half. But I just want to say this is where I get to be very humble and very honest with you guys. Had Caden not come into my life the way that he did, had I not met all the people through podcasting, had I not met the authors in this book, had I not read their stories, by the way, had I not done those things, I never would have been where I am today. And this is where I can show you guys the power of the Caden framework right here, right now. None of that would have happened had I not gone through loss, had I not gone through grief, had I not met my emotions and my feelings where they needed to be, had I not learned how to be kinder to myself. Life already beat me up. I already let life take care of that. Life's already got that part done. I don't need to do it to myself. What if I gave myself permission, by the way, to integrate grief into my life in a powerful way that moves me forward, where I don't forget, but I remember and I honor my grief journey? What about that? And so I'm here to give you guys an opportunity. I'm here to give you guys a chance to connect. I'm here to give you guys the ability to learn how to take your grief and make it an empowerment place in your life, because I will share this with you. Every single one of us has purpose. Every single one of us has meaning. Every one of us has collaboration hidden within us when we go through grief and loss. Every single one of us. And whether you lost a father, whether you lost a child like me, whether you went through trauma and abuse of any kind of nature, there's somebody out there in the world who's walking that walk, by the way. And they may not have the support, they may not have the tools, the resources, things like that you guys do. But guess what? When you do the work, just like I'm doing, I'm still, by the way, a work in progress, just like everybody else. But when we do the work, we can meet other people where they're at. And those people, by the way, that are standing where we once stood, who, by the way, I can guarantee you, feel lost, confused, unsupported. I don't know what the hell's coming next. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm in all these emotions. Be that person. Heal yourself to be that person to go over there and say, hey, you don't got to walk it alone. Let's walk together. Because that's the biggest reason I do what I do. I had to walk my healing journey in many ways by myself. I had to hold all that stuff in. I had to deal with it on my own. That's a rough, rough place. And I know I'm not the only one who had to do that. So I want to tell you guys, big thing for you is get yourself healed first. Do that in whatever way it comes. There is no timeline. There's no way for me to tell you exactly how to do it. That's why the Caden framework, by the way, is a make it your own system. And I did that on purpose because it's your path. It's your journey. It's your empowered grief journey. I want you to discover what that is. Because if you do that, by the way, and you get empowered, now you've figured out how to do it. So now you can show other people. This is a pay it forward community that I've built. It's a beautiful thing. And so it just continues to grow because of that. And so I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So in this next Sunday, in a week from now, we're moving on to the acceptance phase, the letter A in the Caden framework. And I'm excited to see where people get with that. I'm really excited because as much as people like and thank me for all the work I do, they teach and help me at the same time. It's a beautiful thing. And that's what's nice about the Caden framework too, by the way. All the feedback I get from people that do it, it's going to evolve. It's going to become better. It's going to become stronger. It may end up being something that I bring other people in, other coaches in to help share their perspective, share lessons they have, things like that. So it's a beautiful thing. So I got a coaching call in 10 minutes. So I need to go prepare for that. But I just want to say thank you guys, for watching my Facebook Live today. Thank you for joining me. I know it's been a 20-minute conversation, but I hope you found this inspiring. What I also want to share really quickly, I'm setting up a self-paced school community here, hopefully in the next month. I'll have that at a lower price point to be able to reach more people if finances are an issue getting coaching. But definitely check out the book, guys. Check this out right here. It's a beautiful thing. Notice it says guided by, not written by. I want to make sure you guys know that. I'm just the guide. That's all I do. I connected people to write this thing, and all 23 stories in here, by the way, are from people who have a very big heart and went through a very deep part of loss in their life, but they went out there and made purpose and got empowered and inspired, and they're out there doing beautiful work today. So I want to make sure you guys know that you can do that too, and I'm going to give you the resources to do it if you don't have it. If you guys do, by the way, are curious about coaching for whatever reason, I offer a free 1-hour empowerment call. I did one last week with a beautiful lady out of Texas. Beautiful story I'll share for another time. But if you guys are curious what grief coaching looks like, or if you're curious what it's like to work with me, reach out down below. Drop a comment, DM. You guys can email me at chris@empowergriefjourney.com. I'm happy to have a call with you. It's a no pressure situation at all. I just want to make sure you know there's a resource there for you. There's coaching available so you can learn what it looks like, what it feels like. Like I said, I'm out on a mission, by the way, to help other people as they go through grief. And offering a free call is one step forward on that. And you guys will leave that call, by the way, empowered. I'll give you action items to take on your way. If you sign up for coaching, great. If it's not an option at that point, that's fine too. But I at least want to help give you guys a resource and help at that point, so you guys in your journey. So other than that, guys, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll be back for another live. I'll try to do one tomorrow. I'm trying to get back into lives and touch base here on social media because I've gotten a lot of new followers in the last couple weeks. So anyway, everybody have a great week. We'll talk soon. Stay empowered.